you will now also see the challenges. I respect the views that she has made, but what has stopped them from what Americans call filibustering? Is that the word? Lobbying. Yes, lobbying. That's the real word. They are supposed to lobby. The National Assembly must not sit down there in Abuja and think, oh, we are making laws. You have to lobby because it's a constitutional provision that you must get the consent of the states.
24 states, two-thirds.
Get it. So you must target 24 who will be listening to you, and you rub their back and they rub your back. The things you have reeled out, they are also very important and to the governors in their various states. So politics is politics. It is played everywhere, irrespective of party affiliation. This is a question of interest now. Abi, this is what the governors want. Look at it. You have raised 4 key issues. If it is true you can concentrate on, do it. And you sit down and wait. There is how many months ball? Less than
6 months.
Less than 6 months. Yeah, for them to go. They will live in June. They will live in June. This administration has less than 6 months to go. The executive arm. What can anybody do? Very soon they will not be sitting. They will follow their campaign, and then you find out that either the Senate president or the what do you call it, will be alternated. The speaker follows his politics, and his deputy stays. And when it is the time for the speaker to also go and support his candidate, he goes. There is nothing new anybody can do in the next 6 months for the assembly. So we must not expect Nigerians must not expect any miracle to come, be it from Daman in football or from God himself in heaven. No miracles. They won't do it in 6 months. They won't even form a quorum.
I'm back to you. This discussion and where this session was made by it was a forum where we were discussing National Institute of Legislative Studies and Governor Kaduna State was the chairman at that program, and they seems to be saying, appealing to him, or I want to quote the Senate President, we are appealing to you, lobby your colleagues for us. I want to demand every person maybe seems to be speaking in the minds of other colleagues. He said, remove, what is it called now? This tax. Let it be, instead of making it a pool thing, why not allow state to supervise by this the tax something? They also spoke about state policing. He's speaking the minds of his colleagues.
Well, I believe that they also have a forum very rich. And then the government.
Yeah, the government forum.
Yes. And so they must have been rubbing minds and must have been feeling each other's pulses to know where you stand and where you stand. And most of the things that Elifai was talking about there are things that cut across all states. It's not just one state. And so you might be saying that Elifai was talking on behalf of his colleagues, was talking for his colleagues. Since but the leader seems to be saying, lobby for us. We are also lobbying you to lobby for us. But you see, bear your mind, I rub your back that they are doing right now. Whatever that they are doing, they must have at the back of their minds the well-being of their states. But a lot of them are not having this in mind. A lot of them are having, egocentric, thinking of themselves alone, forgetting that some of them will leave that position.
I won't come
back. I won't come back. They'll be on the other side. And that's when they start regretting that why did I do this when I was supposed to have done it? But I must say it here that these things we are talking about, one day will be one day. It's either you have a good constitution or something gives you. You see what I'm talking about? You don't know what I'm saying now. Because they've just been passing this book on and on and on. They're making money out of equal rights. But what's the usefulness of the money you are making that cannot do your country good? That cannot stay at a place and say, yes, when I was there, this is what I did for young people. Or when you are there as a body in the assembly, this is what you are able to achieve. I don't know what they're going to say about that. So for now, I think we must keep our fingers crossed. There's nothing anybody can say that will change anything right now. The way things are, there's nothing we can do. Within this short period that we have right now, nothing can change. So no Nigerians should expect any amendment coming this way. No.
You're so assertive.
You can see it. It's so obvious. That is so obvious. Look, we are talking about the timeline, the tenure of this executive, the tenure of the legislature that's running right now. What do you think they can do? There's electioneering now. The campaign is on now. You think anybody wants to become governor in that assembly will not go after his governorship aspiration? Or anybody wants to follow somebody to become a president will not follow that person because he knows that when that person becomes a president, he has to
you don't see this noise due respect to the NW speaker. You don't see it being belated. And when now that
he's trying to let Nigerians know that they have tried.
Don't expect anything.
Don't expect it.
I'm thinking of this alarm now.
Yes, this is the right time to say, because they have been telling us they are on top, But now that he realizes that, look, very soon they will go for Christmas break, and they will not come back until the new year. By the time they come back in the new year, they will have only less than 6 months to go. And next year is the peak, the early 2 months is the peak of electioneering. Mark you, many of them are not coming back, about 67 to 70% at the National Assembly,
including the current president.
Yes, they are not coming back. So, this one, they have not done anything. That's what it means. The new set will come in June and begin to, if Benjamin Miller is fortunate to become the
to come back,
not only to come back
as speaker.
Yes, you never can tell. You never can tell. So if he comes back, winning his own election may be easier. But how many? What is going to be the percentage ratio basis? So if the PDP has,
or how are we sure the speakership will still come to?
That's what I'm trying to say. No, if he is there, naturally they So our rotational. If his own boss becomes president, he cannot pick the speakership. So these are, many of them will not come back into the chamber. At the end of the day, after all, what is Benjamin Miller looking for? To become a speaker, and he has become it. Tomorrow they can appoint him something else, because he is almost for sure not going to come back as the speaker, either by election or by appointment.
So I'm going to leave this topic. I want you to look at part of the attrition, 44, they call it. But look at the autonomy. 1, uniform retirement and pension rights of judicial officers. Separation of office of Attorney General and Court for Justice. Let me just stop at that.
Well,
we throw away the baby with the bad water because
you see, all this concern that we're talking about. Don't you forget that the executive and the legislature, they work towards almost the same goal. There are some people in the executive who are eyeing certain positions, and those one in the executive too, they want to work hand in glove with them so that they might achieve what they want to achieve. If you look at these things that we're talking about, separation of powers, autonomy, judiciary, look at these things too. Some of them might be benefiting from this lumping, this thing right now. And some who are coming behind them too want to benefit from it. And some of them who might be coming back into the chambers. You see what they have to benefit from that. If I vote this thing, if I say this is what we must do right now, what do I stand to gain? It's not what does the country stand to gain. It is I before others. And that's exactly what is killing us. And there's no way. This thing we are talking about is for the good of the country. What is the amendment we are talking about? So if you separate the Attorney General from the Minister of Justice now, you see better administration of justice. in Nigeria. But I'm not getting from, I'm not benefiting from the one person holding those two posts. And these are some of the things. The judiciary too. Some of them are going to be governors in their states from the assembly.
So it's not even suggesting that former governors will be banned from going to the Senate.
We have said that several times.
That's you are infringing on their constitutional rights.
There's no way you can ban that.
So I just raise a particular issue, and that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, what's the problem?
Yeah, you debate it, but you can't infringe on their
The ones that are not even there, the ones that are not even directly affecting them now. They're not directly affecting them. The ones that people don't even know very well, that are very open, is what they are afraid to do now. Let alone we now say that they should ban from going to the ban governments from going to the. They will fight that to any extent.
Because they profit from it.
They profit from it.
He would also leave.
Nobody wants to become the old politician. Nobody wants to become a retired politician. It's a profession to them.
Yeah.
So they don't want to leave that place. And that's the problem.
So yeah, someday we would love to, as newscaster, what do you call writer, say retired politician. A retired former politician. Oh God.
Well, your last thing, part of the amendments, part of the alteration, I want to take, and that's powers of listening to someone, governors, and the president. You know, they don't have the power now. Then independent candidates, they don't have the power to summon the governor or the government. No, State Assembly doesn't have the power to summon the governor. Just like the State Assembly doesn't have the power to summon the president. And the independent candidates in the elections. And of course, real part and be removed from exclusive list to concurrent.
What's the last one?
Airport and railway.
Okay.
Be removed from exclusive to concurrent. Those are part of the alterations.
Well, that one is okay because it's not only the federal government that runs. I give foreign affairs to them, but airport is part of transportation, and then incomes can. If you want to establish an airport, you don't have to wait for the federal government to be able to do that. So things like that, they're okay. But you see, we have to be also very careful. When you give freedom to Nigerians, they sometimes overuse it. You will find a state that does not need an airport and will say, because it is on concurrent list, he wants to establish an airport. How many airports do we want to establish? If Osun had its airport right, there would have been an airport in Ibadan, airport in Osun, airport in Akure, now airport in Ekiti, airport in Kwara. Within big domain. These are some of the things. We overuse power, and so those who hold on to power sometimes don't want to give it to us.
But employment generation.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. It is good. It is good. In fact, as far as I'm concerned now, devolve every power. Let everybody do what they think. I say restrict federal government to finance, defense, foreign affairs, and let them hands off education. Give education to the. I mean, today there is a university, federal university in each state. Give it to them. Let them hands off. So you can take, and then you take Abuja affairs. This should be all that the federal government should be, so that you reduce this tendency of everybody wanting to go to Abuja. Yes, the federal capital territory, federal government should handle it. Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of 4, 5, 6 maximum. Give everything to the people, devolve power, and that is what we expected the houses, to do, so that with a new administration coming, they will have that power. This a new administration that can be it Atiku, be it Obi, be it Shiwaju. When they come, if they had done this and handed over to the new administration, they will sit up. But they will come and also entrench their powers. You cannot change. We want a new constitution, we cannot get it. We want an amendment, we cannot get it. What are we doing? Since 1999. And we see these problems, they are there. in their physical, economic, and other manifestations. They're there. It's all because leadership doesn't mind. But let them devolve power. That's the most important. Some of us will never go to Abuja if proper power is devolved. What am I going to do there? But because everything is in Abuja, you have to, one way or the other, you have to go there.
So let me have the last thing.
Yeah,
One of these
of power. This is evolution of power.
I want you to add the independent candidate of candidates in the election.
You see, let me just start with the devolution of power. When you devolve powers, it's called that the states will have more funds to work with. Now, what the federal government is having right now, in terms of allocation, is too enormous. And it's just being wasted on so many frivolous things.
52%.
50% on frivolous things. Look at a lot of federal agencies that are in the states, they're not doing anything. Nothing. They're just there and they're not money. They decide they will collect the salary.
Ministries. You build ministries.
Ministries, parastatals, a lot of things for them. And so that's why I believe that devolution of power is a very important one that has to be done. Then the other one you asked me now,
Independent
candidature. You see, that's one thing that would have been very beautiful in this country if you have been able to do it. In my own community, I would have voted somebody that would do that something very good to the community. The person doesn't have money. Agreed. He cannot run anything, but what he has is has the goodwill of the people. The goodwill which he has built over the years because he has been doing very well. And that kind of person, you don't say this is the person we want to go to the assembly. And run him will make him succeed. The way you have independent candidature, these things will be better. What you are doing in Nigeria today, the policy will be better in this country. Because a lot of us will be able to do things that we have to do the way we have to do it.
Smaller, let me come back to you again. The second topic. Withdrawal limit will cripple campaign funding. Well, let me just, we are aware, in electoral 2022, section 87, 89, 88, try to limit what political party or individual can spend. But this needs to be an...
Yeah, it is a good development in that respect because the government or the administration must have looked at it. We have always been trying to find a way of limiting campaign spendings, but we have never succeeded. This year, or towards 2023, only God knows how much each political party will spend. So, if it is going to limit campaign spendings, Mofarama, I'm into it. But the ordinary man who must be taking 20,000, 50,000, that's where
another 1,000 is.
Let the campaign start. They have already stocked their homes with money. The best they can do to spend their money before the 31st of January is to spend that money in paid in advance and let people begin to. If you want a television, advert, you can go and pay as much as possible and deposit and tell them run the administration. Run the campaigns till so on to thy kingdom come. But be that as it may, if it is to checkmate the campaign spending, yes, I am for it. Because the politicians over the years, all these 3 years before now, where has been the Nigerian money? People kept them so that they could utilize them during campaign. So we have not been better off. The level of poverty has permeated and it remains permeating. The man on the streets, including all of us here, we are supposed to have been the middle men. Everything is buy rice within a short. Sometimes I shudder when you go and buy one or two things and you put them in a nylon bag and you do the arithmetic, you see that you have spent 15,000-20,000 in a small handbag, nylon bag. That is the level our economy has depreciated. So, if it is true, if the central bank governor is very sincere, but people are also fighting him because they thought or they think rightly too, that he wanted to become a politician, and the National Assembly and Hula Baloo and even the presidency had to come in before he. So it's a way of also checkmating them. But if it is a government policy, checkmate excessive spending, I am for it.
Yes, I want you to take these two together. The CBN, just like someone just said, it seems to be on some of the duties of INEC. Because having gone through Section 87, Section 88, and the Electoral Act, that has already limited what I need to do as a candidate and what political can expend.
I think spending in political circles is much more than just electionary spending. What the CBN has done now is to checkmate vote buying. Vote buying primarily is what they are targeting with that constitution, with that law.
The policy.
Now, see this policy, you and I in Nigeria today, how many of us can spend up to 50,000 naira in a day? The only way you can spend that kind of money is your children want to go to school. They need school fees. That's the only way. But when it comes to just spending, maybe you want to buy food stuff into your homes, you want to buy this, you cannot spend that kind of money in a day. But one thing is very clear: an average politician can spend 100 million naira in a day on bribery, all sort of things. Those are already stacked down.
Vote buying.
No, our people also go to them and take money.
If the people go to you, people come to you to come and take money from you, and you don't have it. Don't give it.
But then they have it.
You see, that's the point. But you see, that's what they are doing right now. This is not against the masses. It's not against the masses at all. People don't really understand it. If I want to send 40,000 naira to you in a day now, I can let it to you via transfer. Even when that policy takes effect. The reason that I cannot go to the counter to withdraw 20,000 naira, to withdraw more than 20,000 naira.
Liquid
money. And we are talking about spending. And that's the thing. The CBN has said this long time ago that they want to encourage e-spending in Nigeria, so that you don't have a lot of money on you when you're going anywhere. So if anybody comes to your home at night, any robber comes to your home at night, that robber cannot expect to get over 20,000 naira in your house. And if you get that kind of money, and if the robber robs you, go to the police and say, I was robbed overnight, and the 100 million was taken from my house. Where did you get the 100 million from? These are the kind of things that we're talking about. But because you transfer money to one another at any given point in time. A boy of mine today, I was talking to him that, I need some money for so. And when the boy was transferring money, he transferred 20,000. And I said, you have not started the policy of the end of the day. And the boy just laughed. I said, that's what I think you
preparing you for the tax ahead.
So these are the kind of things we are talking about. So primarily, I think it's targeted at the politicians. The politicians in our society who wants to buy votes. A politician in the day wants to buy votes. Now, tell me how much can 20,000 buy in vote buying? What are you talking about?
Maybe 10,000 per hour.
Even put it at 5.
So what are you going to do with that? So that's what I think.
I want to look at this reaction from various political parties, PDP, the political Congress. But let me start from PDP, and I'm quoting them now. The director of strategic communication, Dele Momodu, said, the policy will strangulate the political process. In 2014-2015, if President Buhari had no access to funding, he would never have been president of Nigeria.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean,
that's what PDP.
Yes, I mean, Momodu will say that because they know, they understand that the Nigerian politics is centered or is pivoted by money, fiscal money, not transfer. So they need that money to do so much, to encourage people, not necessarily buying votes, but is one way or the other is you are buying them over. And he has forgotten, dear Momodu has forgotten that 8 years ago, the situation in this country was not as bad as it is economically. And it is getting worse and worse. So if this is a policy the government thinks can checkmate unnecessary spending, let us do it. But if you're a politician, it will affect you because the manner and way in which you are used to spending money in the name of election will be thwarted, will be reduced drastically. So he is a politician, and so more so he has just crossed over. So he must announce his arrival and presence. We wish him the best.
No, you want to react, but let me ask you to react to this other comment from SDP. So I can take it together. SDP is saying, I'm quoting them now, you cannot overnight bring a policy that seriously affects a project as big as electioneering. That's SDP.
I think this is not even being sincere. Because we're talking about parties spending money.
Yes. They don't belong.
Where does the NG stand? We are talking about PDP and the APC. See,
the American is calling very rich.
No.
One man
being rich.
One man being rich in the midst of a lot of other politicians. You see, one thing is this. I think, as far as I'm concerned, the politicians will find a way around it. Let me tell you the way they find around it. You have paid money to 20,000 naira withdrawal. You know how many pounds sterling they have in their wardrobes? You know how many dollars they have in their wardrobes? They cannot be controlled by the Nigerian CBN. And so this is where the thing will start now. But one thing that will come them is this.
Maybe the Naira desegregation will also have felt.
Definitely everything will come to one circle.
So what they have in the house, you don't see it being affected?
But it can't, what we are saying now, the Naira thing cannot affect the dollar. If you have dollar in your house, you don't have to take that dollar to the bank. You don't have to. And no CBN can force you to take it to the bank. The only thing that's happening now is that America has said that any dollar that is printed before 2021 cannot be used, will not be legal tender anymore. And that's the reason that can affect them. And so now what they do is that they start spending that kind of money.
Would you blame Americans for doing that? That's another way of helping us
yes.
to curb our excesses.
Now I must tell you one thing. Politicians will find a way around this, and I will tell you why they find a way around it. You have campaign materials that you want to purchase. Right now, they go after these campaign materials.
So,
they buy them in bulk.
yes,
Buy them in bulk. Put them up. And then thereby empowering those people who they are buying from.
Yeah.
And then maybe they overbuy. And not tell those who they are buying from that when we buy from you, we still need these services from you. Some people go there and go and take something from these buyers. You know our politicians, they have ways of dancing around all these things. Money will still flow in this coming election. How it will flow, I cannot tell you right now because I don't know. But they'll find a way around it. I can show you that.
Small from African Democratic Congress. I'm quoting. Larry, what does you are welcome?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I hope it's not fuel.
It's more than fuel.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Let's just hope bad fuel has not come. Because the vehicles, brain box and everything having issues now.
Thank you. I did told the audience that you join us. Welcome.
Now,
we're happy to receive you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your commitment for being there all the time. And maybe I should start from you. Let me give you a baptism of fire.
Thank you.
From the second topic, withdrawal limits. We cripple campaign fraud. These are political parties. And I want you to look at the side of African Democratic Congress, and I'm quoting them now. I think the government is trying to control the flow of money in circulation. We have all agreed that vote buying and selling is a canker.
Vote buying and selling is a canker.
African Democratic Congress.
Yes, that's as far as election funding is concerned. However, I will not look at it that way. I looked at the position of some official of the CBN that said some years back it was planned to be executed. That is that limit of 20,000. And that was like some 12 years ago. And I now begin to wonder the first question I would have asked that person is, how much was the exchange rate of Naira to $1 at that time? That they picked the same 20,000 Naira. So what 20,000 Naira could buy then, by arithmetic, could buy you a bag of rice. 20,000 could buy you a 25-liter keg of vegetable oil, and you will still be able to get maybe 2 or 3 live chickens from 20,000. The 20,000, 40-something thousand is a bag of rice now, which was 7,800 then. So when we are now saying people should buy, okay, you are in hospitality business, that's part of what I do. you buy a goat for 25,000. When people come to buy that day in big places, some entertainment places make between 500 and 1 million a day sales, but most of it by cash transfer. But is he now going to do cash transfer at Ojaba to buy the goat? To buy, so it's not realistic. That 20,000 is not. If you want to put a benchmark, put a realistic benchmark that can function. I have bricklayers who work with me. I have carpenters who come and do small jobs. They collect his 4,000, buy a mudu of rice, of beans, pepper when he's going home. Keep change of 1,500 after buying 500 fuel to his motorbike. He doesn't need it. If you say you want to send to account, even for the few ones who have account, they will tell you, Oga, bank your home, so if 4 people work for you in a day, you pay them for 4,000. Are you going to live with your own family with 4,000 when you still have to buy fuel into your car? That 20,000 is unrealistic. It's like living in the past. It's unfortunate they can think it's possible because minimum wage has been 30,000 for almost 8-9 years. Exchange rate has not helped. House rent has gone up like 5 times. Cost of living has gone up like 10 times, and the wage has remained 30. So people think it's still normal to say 20,000. It can't work. It can't be realistic. Okay. And then the CBN should have told us this number of Nigerians have bank accounts. We can't have up to 100 million Nigerians with bank accounts. So how do the remaining 100 million transact? Basically, it's unnecessary. You want to control slush funds for election. You have done well. You want to change the face of the naira. To me, they are looking away from the real thing. People will gradually be bringing in the slush funds in Sokewe and everything. If it is entering the banking system now, that's the dangerous part. We expect them not to be able to get that into the banking system. But if that is getting into the banking system, you are not saying you are controlling the counter exchange is unnecessary.
Okay, shall we go to the third topic? As well, I'm starting from you.
Me or sir?
I'm starting from you.
Okay.
This very former reg for Akwa Ibom State, Mike Guinea, just came out with that comment that between now and 2023, many politicians will cease to exist after that election. That comment from a former reg.
I think it's a wishful thinking, personally, for him, because politicians don't just they don't easily get retired by elections. They find a way of bouncing back. We have seen it over time. Our democracy is 22 years old plus, very soon to be 23 years old. Tell me how many of the major politicians have been seriously retired. So I take it from that. Yes, age will catch up on some. Quite a number will die. It's not that we are wishing them dead, but it's a natural phenomenon. A nation of 200 million, even as they go, with quite a few parliamentarians have died and gone. So it is a wishful thinking because I think he himself has a political agenda. Here was a man who 4 years ago wanted to retire and come into politics. So definitely he must, he's from which state as a person? I think he's from the east, but he served in Akwa Ibom, isn't it?
As a rec?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a politician in the making. And so he wants to come with a new verb, a new kind of abrasiveness, a way of finding a means of retiring these people.
Okay.
So he uses that, but I don't see it happening. Not in the next 4 or 5 years. Some of them will still be around.
Maybe we need to get a bit clearer. When he was banking on politicians who believe in rigging, that rigging is their trading stock. He said maybe with the beavers and some other technology, many of them will go into extinction.
Yeah, I think, like we know our politicians, they always find a way to dance around things, and they always find a way to to have a buffer zone for everything that a shock absorber. Let me put it that way. For whatever it is that's coming. A lot of them already know about the beavers. They already know about all these things. So they will find a way. It's not only 1, 2, 3 of them. and it's not directed at a particular section of politics. All of them, in totality, would consult one another. They know what they have to do, and so being retired from politics or going to a session from politics will not really arise the way I see it. But again, I see what
even with the technology.
Yes, even with the technology.
Okay.
Who is going to bring in this technology? They are human beings. They are human beings. And a computer, whatever you feed to the computer is going to get out of the computer. That's one thing again. So as things are now, a lot of them, politicians, they, except of course, you find a set of politicians taking over the reins of power now that are far removed from the old generation. That's the only way you can have a lot of them retiring, going to a session. But without that, if you have these old politicians still in control, no matter the way you look at it, if they don't go to the assembly, they will stay in the states.
Larry, this allegation, purchase of voters' cards by politicians, and again is saying, look, rigging and writing of results will be difficult. So many of them will retire naturally. Look, if I have to, you can't use my card, except that you want to disenfranchise me. I can use your card. The man is saying it's meaningless.
Now, it's for INEC to genuinely show Nigerians whether they want to conduct a very free and fair election. If indeed, like they keep saying, they mean to do that, INEC has records and information to have led him to think that way. One, that more than ever before, they have seen new registrants who wants to be part of this election, who are not just attaining age 18, which means they've never been part of the electoral process before, and in millions now. They are coming out in millions to say, look, we want to be part of this process now. INEC has the records and the database to know why are they coming out now. You are 40 and you are registering for the first time. And of course, they have been on biometric registration for like 3, 4, 5 registrations back. So if some people are coming in now, they would have discovered if they had done that before. But now they have seen that they are new people. That's number one. Then number two is that they are putting the technology they believe. However, if INEC indeed wants to hold an election that he keeps saying will be the best ever, it's possible for new people to make inroads in the political space. And such will make the traditional people sort of get weary. Because they rely on the last minute. We buy, we pay, we get people's cards cloned and all the rest. However, with the technology, just like Safadi said, if I have your card, I have your details. Like in the US, you can cast your ballots a week or two via technology, even before the general election. That, okay, I have time now, you just go on and cast your ballot. And the machine that records, the Beavers machine for instance, could be uploaded. If nobody cares to know, it could be uploaded, and there are these allegations now, right in town, that some people's cards have been collected off them and their details are being cloned, and it will be pushed into some BVS. So if the BVS can still steal their way, it's like the ballot box kept somewhere, stuffed. And you can use some software and technology to get it uploaded and just bring it in. So if those things can still find its way into the records and database of INEC, rigging can still be possible. But if INEC itself is telling us assuredly every BVAS will be 000, everything will be just there, then it's possible. And the traditional people who use other means might be forced out of politics.
Time is fast spent.
Well, it's as I said, it's wishful thinking, but the Nigerian politicians, particularly the older ones, they have been very resilient people. How many of them have retired over the years? They will still trot on, but something will retire them eventually. Relevance and what have you, age, etc. The two politicians, APC and PDP, by the time this election is gone, they are not likely to come forward to want to be president again.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I want to believe that if some of them are to be to go into institution, so be it. Because we want to ask ourselves, what have they done for you over the years? And those who are coming in to extinct them should be ready to do a very hard job, because the job is mighty. So except we Nigerians are ready to change our mind and do the right thing, this country will not change.
Larry.
Well, my belief is that in this political process, Nigerians should do things because that's the right thing to do, not because they just feel they want to join the Joneses.
We hope to be back in the newsroom tomorrow by God's grace. Well, I tell you, the commitments are veterans on Tuesdays. Great. And like I said, we're going to pray that God grant them long life and a good health. So we're going to be around to get those of us who are behind mentored. Small.
Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll be here next week.
By the grace of God. Yeah.
We thank God for seeing us through today. And thank God for bringing Larry here today.
So you see over
Thank
here.
God, Christmas season is here. We are having a nice time next week as well.
Tomorrow we're going to be back in the newsroom. My name is Olade. Bye.
Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in the newsroom. You can't afford to miss it.
oníṣòwò kéékèèké pẹ̀lú oníṣòwò ńláńlá ẹjọ́ tí kì í channel o lè jọjà yìí tàyẹ sọ fún wọn. OSBC lókè balẹ̀ yìí channel 32 UHF náà dẹ̀ sọ.